What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 190 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble. And this week, it's just me and Jay. What's up, dude?
Just the boys.
Just the boys.
We're both chilling after our teams got some nice wins today.
Well, to be fair, Cowboys are on bye, so
yeah, that's also a win. You don't get to watch the Cowboys play, so that's a W.
Okay, hold on.
Come on, let's be honest. How stressful is it being a Cowboys fan? It can't be fun. It's not fun being a Ravens fan either. I literally said to my sister's friend came over today, and I was like, "This is the first time I'm not stressed watching a game this season." And
Dude,
I was like, "It was like
the crazy
part. It was
part
only
is,
when we were up 35-6. It was only then that I felt okay."
The crazy part is I expected that game to be a shootout, and Detroit just died.
Our defense was impeccable. Absolutely outrageous. Even when Detroit was putting together drives, our defense was just not giving them anything. They were making them work for every single yard. Goff had no time to throw. It was just a really good game defensively, and we started on the front foot by scoring a touchdown on the first, 3 drives. So
in our dynasty league, the only reason I have a chance of winning is because I own the Chiefs offense. Every good member of the Chiefs offense I start every week.
That was big W's for you this week for sure.
I was I think at one point I was 8% to have a chance of winning, and now I'm
you were
85.
very low. You were very low. I remember seeing you at 12 at one point. I was scrolling through. I was like, "Whoa, what happened here?" I was like, "All right."
I had 4 starters out on bye this week, and everyone was giving me a hard time about it. I'm just like, it'll be fine. I'll lose one week, and then
yeah, and then you also decided to make the most boneheaded trade in history to try to cover that depth, despite saying you'll lose one week.
It's not.
Oh, it's so bad. It's
great.
So bad.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase for DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin in a dynasty.
If either of them ever get a good quarterback, they'll be fine.
When is that going to happen? You tell me.
Next year. Both of them are going to be terrible, and they're both going to draft. Dude, this quarterback class coming up is awesome.
Yeah, but we've heard that same story in Washington for years. We've heard the same story, and
it'll be fine.
It's just no. We had a regional this weekend.
We got our 5 minutes of football talk at the top.
Yeah, we had a regional this weekend. It was a European regional, so it started really early.
Yes.
So watching stream was a little bit difficult. I know.
When I got to work yesterday, I think Swede said he was in round 5. It's it is 6 a.m. What do you mean?
I woke up this morning at 4, because sleep schedules and whatever they stink, and I saw that the live coverage had basically just started. So it makes sense. It's 5 or it's 6 hours I think ahead of Eastern time, 7 ahead of Central, and so got that early start, made it a little bit more difficult for us to catch coverage of it, but I was able to catch a bit, and we of course finally have our favorite tournament analysis tool, Lab Mouse, back. So shout out to Tim.
I cannot thank Tim enough for getting this up and running. The website
massive W's.
The website looks absolutely awesome, and
it is beautiful.
I think with that we're going to
transition over to the website here.
We're going to share screen. So we have. So this is the new Lab Mouse page. I'm currently in dark mode, so it probably looks terrible. Let me see if this looks.
The light mode looks a lot better.
Okay, there we go. Cool.
Yeah.
I am absurdly washed out now. Thanks, Tim. So just quickly looking at this, this is all from like day 1 usage, right? Like this is he doesn't have it divided among day 2 usage.
Yeah, I believe this is all day 1, and I think something really cool is like that top placement here next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Showing how well these different Pokemon performed in their
Okay,
respective order.
got it. So this is highest placing Mon. Okay, cool.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
What did you you
the
adjusted
top,
it?
yeah, the top placing team of that Mon. It's like the 6 here at the very top: Fluttermane, Tornadus, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Qianpao, Arcanine 1. Which
Oh, I see. Okay, I hit the top placement the other way around, and like a Houndstone was on my screen, and I was like, why is there a Houndstone on my screen?
yeah, last place Houndstone. I'm all for it. I do want to look at this. Ally
One
switch
appearance.
disable Houndstone.
Shout out to you for bringing the heat.
It was Sandro, so it had to be paired with like
And
Tyranitar.
don't mean to be that guy considering I was on Team Ambipom, but Ambipom is pretty low. It was brought.
Oh, was it?
It
Is there
was
a
brought with
single?
fake out last resort technician silk scarf.
None. No other moves. I love it.
Yep, good job, Ambipom. Actually, its most used move is none because it's at 200%. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. All right, this is actually just the Lab Mouse episode where we gush about how amazing Lab Mouse is for
Dude,
an hour straight.
what is this Ambipom team? Like, so
I
414, they have Typhlosion, Ambipom, Gengar, Scizor on their team. We need to find this
Oh
team so
my
I can.
gosh. All right, hold on. Wait, but you can if you look up Ambipom on the bottom, you can pull up the whole team and you can
Oh,
actually pull up
can
the open
I?
team sheet. Yeah, if you go to
Ooh.
that little drop down on the left, uh yeah, look at that. And
Zapdos,
just
Umbreon, Typhlosion, Ambipom, Scizor,
click the
Gengar.
drop down, you get the full
Oh,
OTS.
this is
It's
amazing.
punching glove scissor. So you can bullet punch. This is sick.
Terra Dragon, Punching Glove, Scissor.
Listen, you can ask me if I'm surprised if this team finished in 414th. But respect to you for bringing your favorites,
I love
Cedric.
Terra Electric Zapdos.
Guy, Mom, can we get Zapdos Kanto? No, we have Zapdos Kanto at home.
It's literally just, what if we made Kanto Zapdos physical? Like, that's what this is. And it's so
With
funny.
Defiant, it's pretty sick. I respect I respect them.
I respect the hell out of this team. It's
It,
so
it's
good.
it's not it, and
Oh,
I'm sure they figured
this is
that one
not the
out.
sauce.
But yeah, it is saucy, and that is for sure.
Look at all
Um,
these Empoleons. So many Empoleons. Assault Vest competitive. Terra Fairy. Vacuum Wave Empoleon. Hold on.
so I don't want to spoil anything,
Do we not
but
get Aqua Jet?
you do. Why would you use that when it's special? You're going for competitive boosts
Because it's still
with
stab.
vacuuming.
I
Yeah,
guess
but
I guess
like
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
you're going for competitive boosts. You get vacuum wave. Um, I know I used Vacuum Wave Samurott this week in my UDL set, and it was clutch, very clutch. So very excited for that match. That's gonna come out I think on Friday. We're gonna have a UDL series and RTT starting back up soon as well. So very exciting stuff. Um, I
What
play Empoleon in
else?
UDL next week too.
What
Very
else do we
exciting.
have on this? What other sauce is there? There's so many Zapdos. I need to see this
Can
Moltres team. This is so awesome. I love everything about this.
We're not even talking about the top Pokemon.
Nah,
We're not
man, I
even
get to
talking
talk about
about
all the jank teams.
how Iron Hands has taken it once again from Fluttermane by multiple appearances, 3 appearances, so just
Or
barely edging it out. But we
or
could talk about Moltres, right?
we can talk about the Moltres Samurott Garganacl team.
All right, you said Garganacl. Now we're talking. What's going
We're
on here?
suddenly more on board.
I mean, it's a thing.
This is
That's a
one of the
team,
teams that played at the tournament, yes.
and I'm sure they had fun. It's a
Dude,
cool team.
I mean, where'd they finish? 181? Like, that's actually a decent record. That is not,
Very, very respectable
for what it
like,
is.
I
We're just
mean,
gonna ignore the
Cantoni and
Illumies.
Moltres. Yeah, ignore that. Ignore that. We don't talk about it. For what it's worth, like Moltres has Flame Body, so it's not like the worst. It works as like that Rocky Helmet support Pokemon, so with Will-O-Wisp and such, so pretty cool. Um, would you like to move towards maybe some top usage over here? Talk
All
about
right, fine.
some of that stuff. We can gush about the teams a little bit later. Um, you know,
We'll
like
get
there's
back to Mamoswine and Illumies and
we'll get back to our favorites very soon, very shortly, because we're gonna gush over Lab Mouse, and me and Carter don't have the attention span of like a 2-year-old
nah,
child.
it's fine. We haven't even got
My
to
my
talk about the serious sauce.
oh my god.
Oh no, he didn't bring it. Enji was originally going to bring Yan Mega, and I'm so upset he didn't.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Do you
NJ did send that team. I did, yeah,
Okay, I
the
was gonna say I couldn't remember if he saw it or not.
I did see that, yeah. That's all right.
Disappointed.
That's okay. Um, so, as for mentioned before, Iron Hands taking the top spot not only in day one but in day two as well, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think it's all that surprising, but no longer seeing Fluttermane on that top spot in terms of usage did come in that top spot for placement though, while Iron Hands finished at third.
Yeah, looking at this the actual like winning team here, you and I were kind of talking about it beforehand. The winning team is just a regulation D team. Like
The top
there's
two teams are.
yeah.
They are.
Heatran's new, right? No,
Nope,
it's
Reg
from
D.
home. It's from home. Yep,
Yep.
you're right. But yeah,
They're
it's
both Reg D teams.
is there any kind of iteration on these, or is it just I mean,
Um,
there's like no tech. This is all just really standard stuff when you actually look
you,
at these
you have
modes.
you have like the Miracle Seed Rillaboom, which with Protect, which is a little bit less used, and it has that offensive Terra on the second place team, Aurelian's team, with the Terra Grass just staying offensive. Um, the Assault Vest Heatran um is something that's been seen, but
Hmm. I've played my fair share with it.
yeah,
I like it a
I,
lot.
I like it a lot. I think it's fantastic. Um, I think that the main, I guess, difference between like a Reg D team and a Reg E team here would be that this Flutterman is actually booster energy rather than like a Choice Specs or a Life Orb variant. I know that started picking up more towards the end of Regulation D and the start of Regulation E. That's like much more of a Reg E thing with the new speed tiers and such. Um, but otherwise, you really have that standard, Chi and Pao plus strong physical attackers, both having the Rapid Strike Urshifu, both having the Rillaboom, uh, Aurelian opting for the Dragonite rather than the Arcanine, and then you have your option of speed control between Tornadus and
Farigiraf, yeah,
Farigiraf.
very interesting. I actually, I kind of want to talk about. Do we know what the booster energy on Fluttermane was? Do we know what the
It's
boost
more
was?
than likely speed.
Like that
The
makes the most
majority
sense,
of
right?
them are, yeah. The majority
The
of
the reason
boosters
I
are
ask
now.
the reason I ask is because we do have, Tailwind here with it. You can kind of justify having access to like booster special attacks since you do lose out on your choice specs.
Yep.
But I think I would rather just always be faster. I think that's
It's
just like what I would want.
it's definitely for that tailwind mirror. You want to, give yourself as many opportunities as you can. You'll see, I think on was it Taryn's team in third place? Their Tornadus was actually Sunny Day with the choice specs on Fluttermane to proc the photosynthesis with the
For
boost, get that
speed.
speed
Okay.
boost. Yep,
So
in the
then,
sun.
you can actually outspeed because you have booster speed and you have tailwind as well.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit more of the immediate factor
Hmm.
where it takes 2 turns on Taryn's team. It takes one on the on Simone's team. So the Flutter main will always go before other Flutter mains, which is big. It's also big for Chien Pao as well. That's a tough matchup for a lot of teams, and being able to outspeed that in most conditions is fantastic.
So looking at this matchup here for the finals, the big difference, obviously, like we kind of mentioned, is Dragonite versus Arcanine, and like what you want to actually pair with your Chien Pao. And
Yeah,
I think it's really interesting that Arcanine came out on top, especially when you think about the fact that like in that specific matchup, Arcanine's ability doesn't do anything, but that's not the end all be all. Like I think Intimidate is a better ability than Inner Focus when you think about it, just like 1-to-1. But when you're thinking about it specifically 1-to-1, like that's what Inner Focus is there for.
yeah.
So it's really interesting to like sit here and debate like the minor nuances of like the Mon selection here, and just trying
Yeah,
to really differentiate like what was truly impactful.
and I think that the Arcanine is, one of the big impactful pieces there. The difference between the two teams is that when you're leading like Chien Pao Arcanine as opposed to Chien Pao Dragonite in that matchup, you're putting the Intimidate onto the opposing Chien Pao, which does make a difference.
Hmm.
And you're also resisting those extreme speeds from the Dragonite. Which makes your Arcanine plus Chien Pao not only stronger into theirs, having that positive matchup, but also being able to spam something like a Rock Slide or a Head Smash. That choice, I watched the choice spanned Rock Slide. It was Simone, I think, playing Taran in top four. I believe that was the matchup. It might not have been, but they were clicking Rock Slide and did like 40-50% to Heatran.
Insane. But
And
I
like
mean, like,
that's the big difference is that you have that good matchup face to face in front of each other. You can live the Sacred Sword, dish back damage with the Sacred Sword of your own into their Chien Pao or the Dragonite expecting the Terra Normal plus the Rock Slide, picking up basically a guaranteed KO on one of the two, while the other one has to, double into something to try to pick it up.
I'm curious if Head Smash will just KO Heatran. I'm assuming so, right?
Probably, I would assume next to Chien Pao it would. Without it, I think you might be a little hard pressed. I think it might be close, but
Let's see. This is 252 Jolly Head Smash Choice Band into 252 HP for defense Heatran, which your bulky Heatrans are going to be much bulkier than that. And it's not a KO, it's 83 to 99. But if we go, let's see, how do I add in? How do I
I could
add
hold on.
in
I
the
got it for you right here.
ruinability? Is it just a
What
minus
is
one?
what is your what's your defensive EVs on it?
252
I could
4.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you KO even max defense, max HP Heatran with the choice band head smash with the
Oh, there
Solar
we go.
Ruin.
There we go.
98.9 to 117 into max HP, max defense, neutral nature. You can live it if you want to go plus defense minus attack 252 252, but I don't think anyone recommends that for your Heatran set because you're losing so much damage output.
It would not recommend.
No, that's just so much damage though. And like having that option for that extreme amount of damage that nothing can switch into, like the outrage, you can switch in the Flutter Mane. And you also have the I can't choose my target syndrome, which is no fun, and the confusion afterwards syndrome, which is also no fun, and not being able to switch out.
Well, also the idea behind outrage is you're clicking it when it wins the game, right? Like when
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who it targets.
Yeah, but you're also clicking it when you just need to do tons of damage.
That is also accurate when it's just like, I hope
You
this is
know,
good. You know,
I saw it happen to where outrage targeted into the Flutter Mane, I think over the
Oof.
course of this weekend. I've seen it happen in front of me before. It's awesome when you're on that side of it, but not when you're on the other side. And yeah, it is something you have to think about. It's a position you sometimes find yourself playing yourself into. And I think that head smash is just also the extra base power, 150 base power is absurd. So much damage.
It's a ton. It is so much damage.
Yeah, and you have the offensive rock type, like just a really good offensive type in general. The amazing coverage with Flare Blitz, like that Arcanine Hisui is a real difference maker in this format, and we're seeing a big uptick on it, and we're gonna continue, I think, to see it, moving upwards. It's fallen, what is that, like just outside of the top 12, it looks like.
In where were you looking at?
12. It's exactly 12th place on the lab mouse usage
Yes,
stats.
yes, that is correct.
So like yeah, on the rise for sure, and took down this tournament as well.
So let's go a little deeper here. We've talked about first, we've talked about second, and like the minor nuances between the two. We
Yep.
kind of touched on the third place team here and like the differences between like it and the first place team with like your Fluttermans and stuff. Do we want to talk about the top placing Ogre Pond being water?
Yeah, we can talk about that, especially because its day one usage like completely eclipsed the Hearthflame mask by over 10%. Uh,
Yeah,
which is
by a significant chunk. I am curious as to actual specifics of how many there were. 205 versus 147.
big difference.
And I think a big part of why we're seeing it is if you look at the top four teams here, there's three Urshifus, right? There's three water Urshifus. And I think just
Yeah.
having that immediate immunity, being able to switch in on it, as well as like you have access to Rillaboom to be able to switch in on it as well, or your own Urshifu to be able to switch in on like a Surging Strikes. Plus, it just Urshifu is a natural pair with Chien-Pao, so being able to see like the rise of this Chien-Pao Urshifu Rillaboom core is just like we've seen in years past with Urshifu. It's going to need to be checked in some way. And I think that the Wellspring Mask Ogre Pawn is actually a really good check to it um, being immune to those surging strikes and being able to
Hmm.
resist the close combats, right? Because grass resists,
No,
it
it's
doesn't.
neutral.
I'm. It's poison that resists, and that's why, right?
Yep, poison
Okay,
does.
man, I'm gonna. I've played this game for
It's
25
okay.
years. Look,
We all get lost sometimes. It happens. I always have to check my type charts over and over again. Like, all right, which one is this one?
rock is one of those that I'm always confused by too. Like
Rock
rock
has
doesn't
some very
resist
weird
rock,
interactions. No, it does not.
but ground resists rock.
Yep. Rock does resist poison though, so
I, sure, I
yep.
ground also resists poison.
No, neutral.
Sure, man.
Yeah. But yeah, the other really great thing about the Ogre Pawn Wellspring Mask form is its embody aspect that you get from it. When you are able to boost your special defense, you're talking about how good you are into Urshifu taking those surging strikes. You Terra Water to take those ice spinners or icicle crashes from the Chi and Pao better, but you're also boosting your special defense to take your Moon Blasts and Dazzling Gleams and Bleak Wind Storms
And
better,
your
while
your
also
heat
getting rid of your
waves,
grass
and
types
yeah, being able to just
and making
resist
those
that
into
heat wave now
resistiveness.
is a big deal too. Yeah.
With the boosted special defense, it means that you're taking very little. I know there was multiple times on stream when I was watching where, an Ogre Pawn had taken like a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam from a Flutter main, took like 60%. They would Terra lived on like 13 HP and was able to take a very important KO with Ivy Cudgel or get an important Follow Me off or something like that. Um, so you also get that benefit with that, and also having that really great water typing is always really a big positive. The biggest drawback with it and the Hearthflame form is that you are walled pretty strongly by dragon types, which are making a big up as a defensive typing. Wasn't super popular here though. I think it's a little bit more of an
Well,
American
you say that,
thing.
but
It's
we talked
four and
about
a half percent.
I mean we talked about Terra Dragon Sizzle earlier, so
Yes, that's the example we have to use to
yes.
state our case. I mean, it's up here in the top. It's looks like it's seventh most used Terra type, which is pretty high. But it was it felt a lot more impactful. I don't think a lot of these top teams are using that Terra Dragon. Um,
I talking about these Terra types for a second. I think these are kind of skewed. Because if you think about it, Wellspring Mask always has to be water. So there's 205 Pokemon already out of
yeah,
however many that are guaranteed to be water. Same with your Hearthflame Mask being fire, and these
a
two
large
being
chunk. Yeah.
two Mons in the top 12 me in usage for day one means that there's two of your top three Terra types right there. And then you account for your Flutter mains, where does it show me Terra types on here? It does, yeah. See, there's 266. 92% of Flutter mains are Terra Fairy. So, like, there's your top three types right there, and it's basically between three Pokemon.
Yeah, so Dragon being at seventh is not as
It
devastating
is
for it,
more
but
common than it appears on paper.
yeah, I do think that it wasn't impactful within the top eight. Um, it was obviously 1 hour first event. There was another high placing Terra Dragon Pokemon as well. I think it was both on James Beck's team. I think it was the Tornadus and the Golden Go, if I remember properly
Yes, I
correctly.
remember. Was that last
Both
week you
on
all talked about
his
that?
team. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they're
They,
just looking through this. There is a Terra Dragon Iron Hands. I again don't know the placing of it off the top of my head, but there is one.
that doesn't
There's
seem like the most useful Terra type
no,
for an Iron
no.
Hands.
You mean the Mon that's already weak to Fairy and is going to be taking a hit from Fluttermane anyway?
There actually is a Terra Dragon Dozo in seventh place.
There's also
So
there's two Terra Landos somewhere as well. That one I can get more on board with.
yeah, the I like the Terra Dragon Dozo
21.
though.
13% of Tornadus are Terra Dragon.
I guess a lot of people take it after James Beck's team, taking his tornado set probably would
Yeah,
make sense. Um, I know you are a big fan of this Pokemon, so I'm going to transition and talk about it. Uh, there was some Dozos on stream this weekend, and all the Tatsugiri are running Ability Shield to get around wheezing.
very cool. Very, very
The
cool.
the thing is that there was like very few wheezings at
Uh,
this tournament,
22 between the two forms.
and I think it just needs to be said about just like where Dozogiri is right now. Um, you know, Tatsugiri is like not a very good Pokemon.
No, I would
And
agree with that.
the fact that you have to worry so much about that niche matchup to where you basically run no item on Tatsugiri for most of the tournament, besides when you run into that wheezing, really, I think, limits the Dozo teams. Because one of the big threats of the Dozo teams in those earlier formats was the fact that after Dozo went down, you still had that Choice Scarf Geary in the back that can click Draco Meteor, that can come in and click Icy Wind, that has that speed control portion of it where it's going to be faster than something if they don't have Tailwind up. And now you can't do that. And now you're stuck with your like 75, 80 base speed Tatsugiri with a useless item. And like that really stinks. That really stinks that you have to stick that on your team to make this Dozo archetype type work. It really holds it. I think it really holds it back. That being said, Miguel took it to seventh place. With the Glamora and with the Urshifu single strike. Not that 2-2-2 style Dozo, but Dozo nonetheless.
So actually, looking at Tatsu, Choice Scarf is still the most popular item.
That's a little surprising. I think might have just been a stream angle because all the ones on
17,
stream,
yeah, there's 17 Gearys. 4 of them are Ability Shield. It is
yeah,
the
and like
second most popular item. So
I think all the high placing Gearys too. The highest ones were ability shield. Surprisingly, I know seventh is definitely 28th is safety goggles. Ability shield at
interesting.
34th with
35th is Scarf.
which I know that name. That's bread in 34th. Loaf of bread. Shout out to them
Interesting.
for doing so well. Yeah, they've been playing Dozogiri for ages
Ever.
since they came out since Dozogiri came out in the game. So not surprised to see them put in like a great performance with it. Choice Scarf in 35th. Um,
Is that the highest placing Scarf?
yeah, 35th, 39th. So yeah, I guess maybe it was just the stream tilt towards it, but the fact of the matter is that you actually have to think to yourself, hey, I really should be using this item for this niche matchup because Tatsugiri is so bad on its own, and it completely ruins my strategy otherwise. That really is rough.
To be fair, man, when it's good, it's absolutely insane, right? Like being able to just do so, like not have to worry
Yeah,
about it, is a big deal. I will admit that.
it's just
And
so niche, like 22 losing total out of 501 teams.
so, ability shield is something that's also been popping up on Heatran. I'm not sure if we saw it here.
Yeah, that one. I know it's for wheezing too, but it's primarily for the Ogre Pawn
Yeah, it's
Hearthflame.
it's mainly there for yeah, Ogre Pond being able to uh ignore Mold Breaker means that you are now immune to their Ivy Cudgel. So
That's a very relevant
that one I will
immunity.
say I think is, like you said,
You're
very relevant and very
you have a
important.
a quarter chance of running into the Ogerpon Hearthflame. In any given matchup, you have a 25% chance of rolling it. So if you're running Heatran like that, and you don't need like you have a Life Orb somewhere else, an AV somewhere else, a Lefty somewhere else, like that's not a bad item to run. I think that makes a lot of sense in that position, and in like if it was like a Cerule Edge or an Armarouge, for example, as well.
So when do we see the evolution of Heatran to be able to beat up all the water ogre pawns? Like that's like the next evolution, right? Is being able to no longer be weak to the version that they're playing to be able to beat you.
Yeah, I
Is it just like Terra
Terra
Grass?
Fairy, Terra Fairy probably. Like the a lot of them are running the Terra Fairy because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to Terra Grass and get smacked by that Ivy Cudgel.
So you
You'd
can
rather the
you can be Terra
neutrality.
Grass with Ability Shield, and then you body two versions.
Exactly.
I'm just
Yep.
saying.
That's no. It's this is an application that I can get on board with, right? Like that's why you run the ability shield on it
Exactly.
to run that Terra
Exactly.
Grass. You're immune to the spores from Amoonguss, which had a good performance on Marco Silva's team. With the Roaring Moon. I still feel like Terra Grass as like a defensive type in this format isn't
It's
all
really
that
hard to justify.
strong.
It's really hard to justify in my eyes.
There's a lot of bleak wind storms, flying terra blasts,
We just talked
ice
about Glamora
moves.
running around as well, and like you go
Yeah,
from immune to Glamora to now weak to it, which is a big deal.
the chi and pow stuff, which I know we've been getting around the chi and pow with the Terragrass Heatran for a while, but it's still you're putting yourself in the way of an icicle crash or an ice spinner, which Chien Pao moving to Icicle Crash is another, I guess, change from Reg D that we didn't talk about earlier. Came up really clutch.
Hmm.
Got a big flinch in the top four on Terran's. Fluttermane was game defining.
Hmm. Very, very interested in just like how this continues to evolve and like where you can go from this. Do we want to talk about some goofy stuff now?
We can talk about our stuff. I mean, I think that we
Well, I
went
mean, I guess
through
before
a
we
lot
transition too
of.
hard, is there anything else here from like the top placing teams that we want to talk about? I guess the one thing that we
Um,
haven't really touched on, there's an Iron Bundle here in fifth.
there's a
Um,
Gothitelle in fourth. Doing
Gothitelle
some.
is really weird, man. It is one of those Pokemons that will go unused forever and then pop up in top four tournament. It is.
I like it a lot on this team. It
I
makes a
do
lot
too.
of sense here.
I really
Just put
like
it
the
next to
idea.
your strong attackers, put it next to your choice scarf Urshifu, put it next to your Chi and Power, your Ogerpon, and just start clicking strong moves.
Yeah, just what are they gonna do if you just like threaten to Oko them every turn?
Yeah, the other cool thing you can do with it is you can trap them into a bad matchup with your Dragonite, switch in your Chi and Pow when they have no switch ins, and then start doing Sortaroo and boosted stream speeds and such. Um, you know,
And
just hit really hard.
I think a lot of people get stuck on the idea that like especially now that Gothitelle is really just there to like perish trap people and being able to play this fair Gothitelle team is really interesting and it's something that when it's good, man, it's insane and it's really hard to play around if you've never seen it before. It is dang near impossible to be prepared for.
Yeah, it's an awesome Pokemon, and I like its application here. A lot. I think that it works really well as just a trapper. It's like, it's like I guess similar to Farigiraf in that
Hmm.
rights is that it has that speed control and it has that ability that makes it very useful.
This one's not
Um,
even playing Trick Room.
this one isn't. I didn't
No,
even look.
Psychic, Fake Out,
Fake out
Protect, Helping
psychic.
Hand.
That's awesome. Yeah, trap it, and just go boom.
Just trap them and beat them up. It's doing what was it like Series 7, Series 9 Gothitelle was doing next to Eliki, and it's just like,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't have an electric immunity. I guess you're dead.
yeah. Your Landorus isn't on the field. Have fun taking this one.
And then
Um,
it's like, oh, you brought Landorus? I'm a just go grab Urshifu real quick.
all right, I'll just go ahead and volt switch on out of here. Bring my Incineroar, intimidate you down, yada yada. We'll play this fun game, and but yeah, like it's I guess we talked about Wheezing in a similar light a couple weeks ago. In Sword and Shield, we saw Wheezing as this pair with Regigigas, and now it's a field state Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Gothitelle originally in Scarlet and Violet is this perish trapping Pokemon popularized, during Wolf's Win and everything. But now it's a field state Pokemon. It sets the field for your strong attackers, puts them in a position to where they can really take advantage of, the field state and get lots of damage on the board. Get you some sweeping later on.
I love Gothitelle. It is not something I have played with nearly enough. And like
I
every time I play against it, it is so infuriating if you don't prep for it. Like in team preview, you go, all right,
oh no,
they're gonna lead it. I know what's going to happen.
What are
What's
they
the
leading
other
it with?
Pokemon that I need to worry about? What can I ignore the Gothitelle to beat up?
Yeah,
And it feels like a coin flip that I always lose.
So in RTT and UDL for the past couple seasons, I've drafted not Gothitelle, but Gothorita and Gothita, the baby
Yep.
forms. And like the craziest thing is when I can bring Gothita, the baby form of Gothitelle, to just about every single match, just to trap things, just to fake it out, and like have it be like a league MVP type Pokemon.
And
Like
it
like
does everything you need it to because Shadow Tag is busted.
that's all I need. That's all I need. Like just put it next to Terra Water Float Soul, and it's like, all right, have fun.
Guess I'm gonna Aqua Jet something.
I'm just gonna wave crash you. But yeah, these top 8 teams, like I don't think any of them are, they're not stuff that we haven't seen before. We have Snow in 8th. We have Dozo. There's equal amounts of single strike Urshifu to rapid strike Urshifu, which is something of note. 2 and 2.
The rise of Single Strike is interesting.
But rapid
It's
strike
3
came
to
in
2.
first and second. Is it? Oh yeah, third and fourth as well.
Mm-hmm.
First, second, fourth as compared to third and seven.
Third and 7.
So
Yeah.
rapid strike still pulling out the positive, the better results, but single strike on the rise.
It's really interesting to see a Pokemon that was kind of just tossed to the side in Single Strike Urshifu for so long. Rapid Strike has just been vastly superior, and now just seeing Single Strike starting to produce results is really interesting, especially in a format where Fluttermane is everywhere, Iron Hands is everywhere. Like
Urshifu is everywhere.
I don't see how it's doing it. Like that's the part I don't understand.
Because Terror Dark Wicked Blow go boom. There's lots of damage.
It has to be that, right? Like it just
it literally is that. It's just it's the matchup for it. It has, Dark type is a good offensive type right now. Fluttermane needs to Terra away from it. There's not a ton of resistances, things that can switch in safely to an Urshifu Dark. It has a really nice type combo. And I guess the other thing that we can bring up is that Ogerpon Wellspring form is extremely high in usage.
True.
So
Didn't even think about that one.
How do I get around you taking away my critting move that has no drawbacks? Well, I just changed to the other dark type critting move that's just going to one-shot you. And
I
then what are you going to do about that?
I do think it is also interesting when looking at the most used items between these two.
Yeah.
Single strike primarily is a focus sash holder, meaning you can always take a hit from Fluttermane, Wicked Blow them, and then Sucker Punch to pick up the KO.
Yeah.
Like if Wicked Blow isn't enough, you can always follow it up by KOing. Whereas
Yes.
Urshifu, Rapid Strike Urshifu
The other one
is primarily a choice scarfer, where
Yep.
the goal is outspeed the threat and KO.
Or a Mystic Water and just get the damage. And I think that definitely comes down to the typing and the play style. You have a much more positive typing into the meta with that water type defensively. So you can Terra Water and survive the um the Fluttermane Dazzling Gleams and Moonblasts and Bleak Wind Storms and so on and so forth. But you can't take those specifically the Fluttermane attacks as well, or the Urshifu attacks as well with that Terra Dark, which is a big portion of your damage. So you run that Focus Sash to ensure that you can still run your Terra Dark, survive, get all your Wicked Blows, and like you said, follow that up with the Sucker Punch. Exactly.
What's interesting, kind of like piggybacking on that idea of Terra Water go Burr, right? Terra Dark also go Burr.
Yes, it does.
Like it's the same thing Luca was doing with King Gambit, right? Where get a sword stance off and then just punch everything. The upside,
except your pressure is so much more immediate.
Urshifu doesn't need to set up; it can just start punching things.
Yeah, and while you don't mind the intimidate, like King Gambit really wants the intimidate.
It kind of needs the intimidate, right? Like it doesn't need it.
To pick up Fluttermanes, you do to get those KOs with your Terra Dart when you're going all in. You really do. You get that critical hit boost on top of it. From the Wicked Blows, it's doing as much as a Kowtow Cleave. Base power wise, and it's coming off an Urshifu. It's coming off this legendary Pokemon. It's incredibly strong, and it's also a lot faster than the King Gambit too, which leaves it a lot less vulnerable to being doubled up, a lot less reliant on the Sucker Punch.
So what's really interesting, just pulling up the calc because I was curious. Wicked Blow. This is from Black Glasses, so let's change that to just Focus Sash. Just get that off of there. Wicked Blow into like bulky Fluttermane is a KO.
Yeah.
Like this is 244, 156 Fluttermane, and it's a guaranteed KO.
Yeah, and then you put that onto like a Terra Fairy or whatever, and you're two-shotting it, but it's like sometimes enough where that Sucker Punch follow-up can be enough. So
it's 55 to 65, and then Sucker Punch is 34 to 41 if they are
so
Terra
just
Fairy.
Misses out on that set.
It's really close.
Yeah, so you
there's
fluctuate.
Some pretty good rolls that do.
What's the defense and HP on that?
On the Flutter?
The Flutter, yeah.
244, 156.
Oh, that is a lot.
It is.
Yeah, that's a very bulky Fluttermane in this format. With the booster speed, a lot of them need to run.
Oh, hold on,
a lot
I'm
of
dumb.
speed.
I had beads. I had beads and Sword of Ruin on. That makes a huge difference, I'm sure.
That makes a gigantic difference. Yeah.
Wicked Blow is no longer a KO. 83 to
Yeah.
98.
But still, it plays into that I'm going to quick Wicked Blow and then follow you up with a Sucker Punch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the idea is still the same until they Terra, and then you're very sad now. Because now
Yeah.
there's 0% chance you're picking that KO up.
Well, then you just use your other 3 Pokemon and deal with
You
it.
just redirect it with your Ogerpon, and then you're happy again.
Exactly.
And like, I think people forget you can't protect in front of Wicked Blow. Like,
No.
it's going to punch you. There's no getting around Urshifu,
And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad.
Slap. All right. Is there anything else here in top 8 or, extending it down a little farther that we want to talk on?
There's some like cool teams down here.
There's a Tyranitar and Cresselia here in 10th in the hands of
and
Eric
Como.
Rios.
It's the it's
I
probably the
missed
same
Como.
team. It's the same team that won last week's tour.
Yeah, I missed the Como.
Yeah, it's the Michael Zhang's team. It looks like pretty identical.
Did you all talk about how important Bulletproof is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I remember
I have been gushing over Como. I have been so gushing over it. I played it in the House Cup. I have it on UDL. So good. It is such a good Pokemon in this format. The Iron Defense one has been the one that's been making the most waves and having these high performances. But that Clangorous Soul set is also ridiculous. Something neat in 18th place, we have an Ogerpon Cornerstone with Indeedee, Oranguru, Ursaluna, Enamorus, and Armarouge.
Ooh, hard Trick Room with
Hard
Ogerpon.
Trick Room. And it's Taunt, Follow Me, Ivy Cudgel, Woodhammer, Ogerpon Cornerstone.
Very cool.
This Pokemon is awesome, by the way. The Cornerstone one too. It doesn't get a lot of love, but it is really awesome. You have that nice little hard Trick Room mode. You have the Ogerpon for secondary redirection, and the fast mode as well.
I'm just kind of obsessed with Oranguru right now.
It's a great Pokemon.
It's so interesting. Just being able to the attack instruct is kind of bananas when it works, man. It's so freaking good.
On this team, you're instructing with telepathy next to Earthquake on Ursaluna, or you're instructing next to Expanding Force on Armarouge, or Dazzling Gleam on Choice Specs and Avarice.
I really just want to instruct Ivy Cudgel and just smack one thing, smack the other thing.
Here we go. Have rocks for you, rocks for you, rocks for you.
Or just like, have Psychic Terrain up, Expanding Force, instruct it, and just I want to live the best life I can, and all of them involve instruct, I think.
Oranguru it's a fun mod.
It's very cool. My love for Oranguru started back in Sword and Shield, and it's not gone away. It was originally next to Mudsdale, and now it's next to. I played it next to Annihilate, which is absurd. It's so good. It's not.
Just keep bulking it up.
It's not good, but it works and it's funny.
It's not good, but it's good.
It's not good, but it's funny, and that's what matters.
I loved it next to Cali Ice in Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
you do a weakness policy with Brutal Swing, and then instruct Glacial Lances for the rest of the game. There was a team I had. It was that Oranguru, Incineroar, and like Celesteela, and those were the 4 Pokemon I would basically bring every single game, and it was just outrageous.
Man,
just instruct everything.
I miss Celesteela.
Me too. I was thinking about the other day how like I kind of want them to bring the Ultra Beast back, but then I also thought about how like absurdly cracked like Terra Fire Kartana would be.
That might be something we had to do here soon. It's just like talk about like we need to do a tier list for the Ultra Beast in the new format that doesn't even exist.
Like way too early. We don't know what's going on. Reg
Absolutely
E
insanely
format.
too early.
Reg E format rankings tier list. We're just gonna tier list every Pokemon. We'll do a Nat Dex tier list.
No, absolutely not. I'm
I
taking
would
off
rip
that
my
week. I
eyes
got an
out.
itch in my throat.
Yeah, I would just be like stabbing my eyes out. All right, we're over on Pokemon 1001 now. All right, this one is probably also trash.
Dude, there's a Staraptor in 29th.
Is it Choice Scar Final Gambit? Yes, it is.
Hell yeah.
With Screamtail, with Farigiraf.
This is so dope. I'm on
This
board
is
for
a
everything going on.
wild team. But like,
Alright, so like the
makes
idea is
sense.
Farigiraf Staraptor, so you
Or
can't be
Screamtail
faked out.
Staraptor. One or the other.
Well, you want Farigiraf so you can't be faked out. Set your Trick Room, KO their threat, bring in Ursaluna, make them sad.
Yeah, but
Or,
like if you lead the
Torkoal.
Screamtail and you do get faked out, then you just encore him to fake out. Or you switch in your Farigiraf and you just, I don't know, but this team is crazy.
I need a
Good
rental
job
for
on them.
this.
Good
I
on them.
need the Staraptor rental. See, we're coming up on just about an hour.
Yeah.
Do we need, or let me rephrase that. Is there anything else? Oh, there's a Reggie Drago. Hold on.
Jamie Boyd brought Salamence, Great Tusk, Ninetales, Sylveon, Cerulege, and Ogerpon Wellspring,
Where are you seeing
and finished
this?
44th. 44th. I scrolled down a little bit, but day two to that.
What is going on, Jamie?
Day two with that. I mean, it's Jamie Boy we're talking about, right?
I mean, yes. Scarfed Great Tusk behind screen sounds hot.
Where is the Drago team?
32?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen this team around a little bit too.
I mean,
Like the
yeah, it's just like Lily
spams,
Cole,
Reggie Drago stuff. It's like, all right, it's like it's kind of like 222 kind of, except it's like Trick Room 222.
It's the Trick Room version of Dozo.
Yeah, it's like, all right, which version am I bringing here? Okay, I'm just gonna destroy you and get rid of that, and yep, sweeping time. Bye bye.
Good night.
Surprisingly to me, Golden Go had a really bad go at things this weekend. I know it's like not all that favored in EU metagames, but I believe its highest placement is 36 with Oliver Escalin, which seems like criminally
Golden
low
Go?
for that Pokemon. Yeah.
15.
Okay. I missed one. But
well, see, so if you scroll up here, you can type it in, and then it'll tell you.
I can type it in. Yeah, but I was like already in too deep, so.
Yeah, but then 15, I get to make fun of you that you're wrong, Jay.
Only 3 of them made day 2.
Absurd.
Which is very low for me. It feels very low. I don't know if it's just a consequence of the meta shift. The EU meta is just different. I know Golden Go has not been all that popular in the EU meta, for a little bit, but this low is definitely shocking, especially after it won, last week. And Oliver looks like brought James Beck's team in 36. It looks like it's just James Beck's team with a couple of changes on some Terra types and such.
Yeah, just some minor changes.
Same 6, I believe. Can't remember if that had a Mungus. No, it was Ogerpon Water and the Urshifu Rapid Strike. So that's the only difference there. But yeah, I think that's about it for me. You got
There's
anything?
an Okie Dokie and we missed it.
Yeah, it was like on an Indeedee team, right?
Yeah. Psychic Seed, Guard Dog, Okie Dokie.
Paradragon.
This is some hotness too. I'm a fan.
It's
Policy Armor Rouge.
the fall off of Okidogis. Both of them. Okay, so these teams, they must have team built together because both in 24th and 37th we have the same exact team for Okidogi, and then the next highest placement Okidogi is 239.
Oof.
So
there are 8 of them.
Yeah.
Rough.
One has a weird ear on it. The other is with Wo-Chien.
I love the Wo-Chien version.
The other's on Ogrepon Cornerstone Sand.
There's one down here next to Hisuian Samurott.
There's one next to Ting Lu. That's a Pokemon we haven't heard from in a while.
I legitimately forgot Ting Lu existed.
I am so surprised. I am like so surprised that this thing is not good. Like I understand you got a lot of crazy water types and stuff.
That's the big thing, right? Is like there's a bunch of water types now. There's a bunch of grass types.
Like its typing just doesn't make sense, and it's weak to Flutter Mane too. But
and you're weak to hands. Like
Vessel of Ruin is so good.
It really is.
It's also a very physical format, I guess, right now too. So it's not as necessary. Where's our Wo-Chien at then? Come on.
What's our highest placing Wo-Chien? There wasn't a lot of them.
The one with Okidogi, probably. How right I am. There's 2 of them. One's with a Slitherwing.
Yeah, this seems also really hot.
Yeah, they're having fun.
They're having a good time.
We are in the oven here.
You got Clangorous Soul.
Eagles have the ball on the Dolphins 1. What are the chances that they run it with DeAndre Swift here?
Oh, did they not get in? Did they overrule this?
I don't know. Sleeper's telling me one thing. Sorry if I spoiled it for you.
Oh no, I'm watching the game. Like I have it pulled up, and
I think it might be time to go.
Is a man.
I think it might be time to go watch the game.
I agree. I think it's about time we get out of here.
So I'm gonna hit us with the outro then.
Do your thing.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching episode 190 of Littleroot Lessons. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, all the fun YouTube stuff. If you're listening over on Spotify or Apple, make sure you leave a rate. Join the community Discord. That's where we all hang out. We're over on Twitter at LR Lessons, at JMcG10 for me, at Mr. Missouri 25 for Carter, at Row VGC and at Musical for Angelo and Carl. And from there we have the website, lrlessons.com. And then we got Patreon and our Discord supporters. Make sure you go check that out. Get a shout out for our $10 a month tiers. For those, we got Johnny Bravo Sr. and Papa Swish for the Patreon, and Smeargle for the Discord. Thank you all so much for your continued support on that. And thank you all so much for watching. I had a lot of fun talking about the Lille regionals and talking about football.
Mainly football, right? Like
mainly the football stuff. The Pokemon stuff is whatever.
No, that's a lie. We're here for the Mons, and football is just extra.
But thank you all so much for watching. And that is it from us. We'll see you all next time. Peace.